Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the weekly webinar from SMB Nation. And as usual, a little bit of housekeeping up front before we jump into the good stuff. So this week was extremely busy. Last week, you may have recalled, I told you I was broadcasting live from the Lyft social media conference in Seattle, and that was very interesting. About how engagement levels such as having 5,000 likes or friends on Facebook doesn't really convert very well to actual revenue. That was a takeaway from the 3-day last week was, and that's the challenge, converting engagement to conversions. And then this week, we've had Grant Thompson, our lead instructor on the Tour to Cloud. He's been in Atlanta all week. Just talked to him about an hour ago. He has been at Ignite, and so we're posting up his daily report at smbnation.com if you want to see what Grant's been up to. And you'll recall Grant is very technical, so that's the conference for him is Ignite. He is flying out Saturday morning, and the reason he is he's going to California, where we have the Tour to Cloud launching this next week. So we have San Diego, Irvine, and Sacramento, and it's the launch of the Tour to Cloud. SureWeb is joining us, so it's a chance to have a further conversation with them after today. And again, the content on that from Grant is technical in nature, although, you know, we've been moneymakers, but we're going to have a conversation about Azure. We're going to have a conversation about Office 365. And the cool thing is Grant has been able to fortify some of his content based on announcements and activity at Ignite. After that, we go to Fort Lauderdale and then off to New York in the Northeast. So it's a busy, busy October. Keep your eyes open for next week's webinar. We'll get the announcement out on that. I want to do another M&A hour of question and answers with Tim Carlson. I talked to Tim and said, let's go ahead and do what would be our 4th webinar. And be sure to use the questions feature for your questions today, and I will be asking the questions. With that said, let's jump into it. So we have Anthony Graziano from SureWeb. And Anthony, I don't know if you know, but we have a really large crowd today. I haven't checked in a couple hours, but we were north of 150 attendees, and that just tells me we're spot on with the content. You know, sometimes you're hot, and sometimes you're not.
Well, Harry, I'm just watching the ticker, you know, the attendees count go up, and so it's very exciting here on my end. It seems like we got a good topic.
Yeah, can't quite get 85 million viewers, but let's not go there. Let's not touch that topic, my friend.
Yeah.
So there we go. Hey, Anthony, I'm going to hand off the talking stick to you because we're here for serious business. Please start, sir, and I'll ask questions along the way.
All right, fantastic, Harry. Thanks for the introduction, and for those of you out there, great to spend some time with you this afternoon. As Harry mentioned, my name's Anthony Graziano. I'm the Director of Partner Business Development for SureWeb here in the U.S., so I'm responsible for the recruiting and enabling and empowering partners to resell a full suite of cloud services from Microsoft Office 365 to Azure to other kinds of infrastructure as a service. That's really what my role is, to make partners successful working with SureWeb. So I'm here today to talk about a real exciting and probably very prominent topic on your minds today around the Microsoft Advisor Program. As many of you may or may not know, the program is slowly coming to an end. And so you're at a transition point of kind of what to do next if you're a consultant, an MSP, a trusted advisor to your customers. So what I'd like to speak with you about today is just some things to consider as this program comes to an end, and potentially how SureWeb can help. One quick bit of housekeeping. Harry mentioned the Tour to Cloud events going on next week in California at Irvine, San Diego, and Sacramento. I will be at all of those events, so if those of you who are on the call are going to be at any of them, please do look me up, and it'd be great to meet you while out there. So let's kind of jump into it, if you don't mind. So let's just, I'd like to just really introduce who SureWeb is. Some of you may be already engaged with us, a lot of you may not. But we've kind of have an interesting take on a position in the market and servicing partners like yourselves. We've been at this since 1998, a true born in the cloud company, beginning as a web hosting company, evolving to one of the largest hosted exchange providers with Microsoft, and now as a tier 2 enabling partner for indirect resellers for Microsoft in both the US and Canada. So along that journey, we've built up partners and customers across many different countries. We are also servicing many partners across the world, over 5,000 currently. And with that, most importantly, we've built a really strong relationship both internally with Microsoft and also as our own employees to certified and be credible. We've been recognized by Microsoft multiple times as both a winner and finalist for their Partner of the Year for hosting. We are a gold certified partner with Microsoft. So many different aspects of our business are tied very closely to Microsoft. So, because of that, I think we've got a really good view of how to work with partners who are going through this advisor transition that we're going to focus on today. So here's what we'd like to cover in the next 40 minutes or so. What are some of the changes that are coming at you with the Microsoft Advisor program? What's being written and proclaimed by Microsoft? What are the alternatives that you as IT consultants, MSPs, VARs, who have been involved in the advisor program, what are some options for you to pursue as this comes to an end? And then the last topic we'd like to talk about is how you can maximize your profitability and how much money you can make as you go through this transition from an advisor partner to another evolving kind of step. So those are the topics we want to touch on. So let's first start with what's happening with the advisor program. There's probably a lot of buzz out there in the market, but let's talk about what the advisor program is. And to do this, the changes that are happening, let's just kind of look at who have historically been the advisor partners within Microsoft. There's two kind of common types that have been out there. First, they're really true managed service providers, and they are the true trusted IT advisors, have a variety of services, bill their clients directly for them. And, as a norm, what they're seeing is that this is now, the advisor program is kind of transitioning to a low ongoing margin for them. And they've lost some of that control that they like to have as an MSP. And so that's one option that we've seen for advisors. The second are really just IT consultants, where they're experts in a specific field. They introduce Office 365 to their customers. They have made that nice ongoing advisor commission for a period of time. They're maybe doing one-off projects. But again, similar to the MSP, they have potential problems with the changes of what's going on with the advisor program. So from here, let's kind of look at how the advisor program has evolved with Microsoft. So initially, with BPOS, and then as Office 365 evolved back in 2013, there was some great opportunity to introduce Office 365 services to your end customers. It was a great ongoing commission, 12%, with added accelerators that were built in, and also ongoing management capability commissions that partners can earn. So, combining all of those commissions, you were north of 20% commissions on getting advisor deals in front of your customers and through Microsoft. So a very lucrative program. And that certainly continued on into 2014 as the demand for Office 365 just continued to grow and build as more customers were looking at it as a way to improve their collaboration. So those were still very healthy commissions that partners could make, both IT consultants, MSPs, around introducing these services to their customers without even having to worry about doing anything, but versus just getting that sale done. 2015, same story. There were competencies added, some minimum sales required to hit early accelerator gates that had been put in there, but still over 20% potential commissions if you were really functioning as an advisor partner with Microsoft. Now in 2016, what we began to see is that immediately that advisor selling price, the price when you were selling new deals, kind of dramatically decreased, along with the accelerator and the management commission. So 2016, Microsoft changes in the program, a decrease now from the initial outset, down a good number of percent. And then now, where we're going here in 2017, what we're seeing here is that the selling price for new advisor deals is going to go down dramatically to 3%. And all of those additives, those kickers that were part of the program for the accelerators and the management are going to go away. And this, for the new business, the sale of these services is going to essentially cease in 2017. Hence, while we're all on this call here today. But you could see from the outset, very lucrative program, the advisor program, but it's kind of evolved and transitioned into where Microsoft is kind of directing their business, and we'll talk about what that's evolving to where we are today, where it's a very low ongoing commission for introducing these new deals and managing them.
Sir, I would offer you should be a diplomat. You or they could use your skills at the State Department the way you've explained the scenario. So if you don't mind, I'm going to have a little fun with you today. But
go ahead, please do.
You're a natural diplomat. Please continue.
Well, Harry, you make that point. Remember, I am both a partner of Microsoft and someone who's trying to introduce, a whole bunch of great opportunities with our own relationship with Microsoft. So I appreciate that, and I'll take it as a compliment. So
there you go.
Okay. All right. So where we're going now, as far as what the official statement is for Microsoft, and there is that sell incentive, and as you could see, it's pretty much coming to a close here this month, and then ongoing, and the manage incentive, which will keep in market to 2017. So what partners we're looking at now is how they can really transition themselves in this program from the traditional Microsoft Advisor to what Microsoft is calling, much more modern offerings through the Cloud Solutions program, the CSP program, getting involved in that. So that's kind of where it's heading. It's not like it's going to change anytime with Advisor, but now it's kind of up to looking at other alternatives and options that you can explore here. So, as again, to reiterate, Microsoft clearly is looking at pushing with their Cloud Solutions Provider program and their Microsoft Products and Services Agreement offerings. This is a new offering, and I'll talk about this here more shortly about what CSP is and what that means. But again, this is a bigger Microsoft strategy, a way to kind of push partners, I would say, to kind of add more value around being an advisor partner, but introducing more of their own value-added services, introducing other integration points that they can bring to the table versus just introducing and selling Office 365 services as an advisor partner. So where are we going to, next? What's really some alternatives now that we can talk about? Because we know, again, this is going to happen. So what are some alternatives, and what is this Cloud Solutions Provider program that Microsoft has introduced to the market? Well, as I was saying, the CSP program, one of the key tenets of it is that partners really look to add either resell value-added services or their own value-added services to the mix, right? Because now what Microsoft here is looking for is for partners to directly own that relationship, own that billing, own the support, own the marketing, all those things that you may not have done as an advisor partner because you were just doing a sell-through and making really nice commissions. But now Microsoft is kind of looking for partners to add their value to these offerings. And also not just offer Office 365, but what's fast coming down the pike and will be part of cloud CSP programs is services with Azure. So how do you drop that in as well? All in all, the way this can be viewed is this: instead of just introducing a one-time sale as an advisor partner, by integrating other services and selling multiple solutions, it's just going to up your potential to be a trusted advisor for your clients. Now, with this, obviously, comes greater responsibility, right? You've got to be able to do things more automated. You've got to have the support. You've got to have the scale to potentially support this model versus just the traditional way of doing things, which is around, maybe just selling Office 365 and moving on to the next deal. So more responsibility there, and not every Microsoft partner or the advisor partners who were selling originally have this kind of capability. This is a big ask for some, not for everybody, but for some this is a major ask. So for those partners, those unmanaged partners, what are they to do? They may not have the systems in place to be able to support the billing, the end customer support, to add value-added services, to better improve their relationships with their customers. So what's now in place, and not to be not so diplomatic, Harry, but to be more salesy, is partners like SureWeb are in the mix to help in these kinds of partners that maybe don't want to take on the full responsibility of being a CSP, but introducing them to how our programs can help give them these things and help them be successful
Yeah.
in the process.
Yeah, no, I would agree. What I've seen kind of in support of that is, there's been a pretty serious look in the mirror with the partner community about what is your business model, and you've got some out there, and it's probably not appropriate to name them on the air because of the nature of the conversations I had, but you have some that they're doing nothing short of recapitalizing their balance sheets. I mean, they're basically saying, if we get rid of our debt, we get rid of our this, we get rid of our that, and we lower our overhead or our nut, we can go into a much more efficient model. It's not the same, we're not carrying the tool belt. It's not the same, but they're not doing the heavy lifting. And Anthony, there's people out there doing that. They're recasting their operations fundamentally, and it sounds like you're willing to do some of the heavy lifting.
Exactly. Yeah, but you raise a great point, Harry, and really what we're looking to do for these kinds of for partners as they're staring this in the face is really give that partner business in a box to go, right? You don't have to, kind of like you're saying, recapitalizing, looking at cutting and slashing things, but giving them a partner business in a box that they can immediately get to market with, continuing to sell Office 365 and making some great money doing so, and adding their value. So that's kind of where we want our partners to evolve to. That's certainly kind of along the lines, I think, what Microsoft's kind of seeking as well. So, while there's an opportunity here for both larger and unmanaged partners, this is, kind of, we probably could all have seen this coming. I think this is kind of what the way the market's kind of been playing out, at least with Microsoft. We'll continue. Advisor will still be still going to be there. It's not going to go away just yet, although it's it's going to die. But we want to help partners drive their profitability through adding more value and really being that platform for them to do so. So, given this, what can you do? What are some options moving forward? So clearly, what Microsoft is kind of communicating is they want people to move to do their business through CSPs, and certainly we at SureWeb are well positioned to be that enabling partner to do this, because again, those advisor sales incentives are going to drop dramatically, and we're going to have to start looking at packaging and bundling services a little bit more on top of Office 365 as going forward. So That's not trivial, but again, there are partners that can help enable to do this and work with you if you can't, do all these things. But there's a bigger opportunity. So with that, now you're an advisor. Clearly, you're at a tipping point, if you will, to look at CSPs and what they bring to the table. So what are things you need to consider as an advisor partner as you're looking at transitioning to a CSP, either fully on your own or with the help of a partner like SureWeb to really fully enable you? So the things that I know we incorporate and we can deliver our part to our partners is, can you support these kinds of services? Not just Office 365 anymore, but Azure, which is right on the pike right now, building up steam, and CRM Online. Can you provide full support to that? What about transitioning your clients to the cloud? This has been historically and will remain a very lucrative opportunity for partners to be able to transition their clients to the cloud, get them onboarded, because again, that first step is always the trickiest for a lot of clients, and this can be a very, as I said, a lucrative opportunity for them. Do you as an advisor have that kind of skill to be able to do that, or do you need to look to someone else to have that expertise that you can sell, right? To be a CSP partner direct with Microsoft, you've got to make certain commitments. You've got to be able to deliver forecasts on a regular basis on those commitments. Now, again, if that's too much to ask, work with an enabler to do that with a whole different criteria where you're not beholden to those Microsoft commitments that will be required of you. Provisioning. How is that integration into Office 365 handled? How simple is it for you to get data out of the system? How easy is it for you to build? Do you have the skill to do that? I mean, ultimately what it comes down to as you look at your organization is, do you have the technical skill, the marketing skill, the sales skill, the operational skill, potentially the development skill, to be able to put this all together in your own package? And can you deliver all of that? Or if you're not able to deliver these kinds of things, working with an enabler to do that to get your business off the ground so you can focus on the area that you do best, whether it's selling or technical or development. Because what you then want to do, if you can't deliver this, is find a great partner program that's going to service you well. Yeah.
Hey, since you just switched slides, got a couple questions queued up. So
sure.
Let's hit it head on. First question is, how many advisor partners does Microsoft have? And, to be honest, I don't know.
I'd put that number in the tens of thousands of people who are out there today. It's a large number of partners that have sold advisor deals with Office 365 that are out there looking for, we're going to ultimately need to look for a solution or a landing place for this.
Yeah. Next question is also, it's kind of an observation. I think there's a question here at the end, but the gentleman starts, seems to me Microsoft is shifting more responsibility to the partners, but lowering the payout. Under the CSP, we can set our price. However, hard to sell when they can still go to Microsoft Direct for a very low price. How do we overcome that? Question is, how do we overcome that?
And that's probably the most pressing question I get asked from partners. The way I respond to that is, it's really about taking what are essentially becoming commoditized services, like everything within Office 365, while very feature rich and everything, and trying to build and adding your value, whether that starts at the migration services, whether that starts at being able to deliver support more effectively, whether that means helping your customers with additive services that you can deliver, like security, training, or by maybe creating your own IP that attaches to things like Office 365, creating your own application that integrates in the Office 365 that you can bundle or sell. So those are things that partners need to look for, because if they're just really selling the mailbox or selling that Office 365 plan, they're not going to be able to compete. You really have to start an analogy that I've seen used that I think is probably the best one out there is using the coffee bean. When growers and farmers pick that coffee bean, it's extremely inexpensive for that initial coffee grower when they sell it. But when that kind of coffee bean evolves and it hits your shelves and is being sold to you by a barista at Starbucks, it all of a sudden becomes a $6 drink. So that's kind of the evolution that has to partners need to have to look at around just adding their value, whether it's from the most basic services all the way up to being able to create their own IP around Office 365 and these what are commoditized solutions on their own.
Okay, very cool.
Anything else there, Harry?
No,
Okay.
we're good for now. Please continue.
Okay, excellent. All right, so again, a lot as an advisor partner to consider what they need to do. So really, one of those things to consider is finding a great partner program and how finding someone who you can work with that can give you that partner business in a box that can enable you to really go to market in a way that makes most sense for you, whether that be under your 100% under your own brand. Maybe you've got a lot of these services already. Maybe you've got support desks in place. Maybe you've got that IP we talked about or other managed services and you just want to wrap in Office 365. Or maybe you're missing things like support and you want to co-brand it and you're okay with that because, again, support is not your expertise and maybe you don't have that support and migration capabilities. Or you can continue, or just continuing on as a true referral, similarly to how you've kind of done your advisor business. All of these are options that we at SureWeb, in evaluating what's really going to be needed by Microsoft partners in this kind of case, have kind of put together. And we think there's great choices here for partners to look at and say, all right, I can fit into one of these boxes. I want to be, I don't have a support desk. I could use some help marketing, enabling my marketing and selling. So maybe a co-branded distributor would be the right fit for me. Others come to us and they've more of a pure, complete MSP. Maybe they've already been selling things like hosted exchange, security, have a consulting team for migrations. They want to be that pure white label partner. So this is as a next step really to evaluate finding a great partner program that can work with you on an ongoing basis to help you grow your business and transition those advisor customers. So what are some tactics then within this as you look to maximize the profits in your transition? So to the question earlier, it's becoming harder and harder to make money. So how can you maximize those profits in your transition? Well, we originally had 3, and then, as we kept talking about it, we came up with 4, 3, not 4 of these tactics you could do. For one, we see as a way to optimize and take advantage of this change to CSP and working with us is around migration services, upselling and charging for migration services, which we at SureWeb include for free and roll into our offering. So we see that sold anywhere from $25 to $100 per user. So that's a great first way to make up for the smaller margins that you might get reselling Office 365. So sell those migration services. You've probably used to already doing that in the past with advisor deals already, but you can continue to do that and make be very profitable in doing so. Secondly, take advantage of the integration in Office 365. One of the ways that we really can help partners save time, save money, become efficient is because of the integration we've built into Office 365. We've got a full-on partner portal that we call Cumulus that we've developed integration in Office 365. So when things around licensing creation and SKUs and things like that are created on our end, it's all very seamless in how it's handled with within our system and integrated within Office 365. So that, as a time saver, or being able to provision your customer services, could be another way for you to add margin, make more money, add profitability to your offering. Next thing, utilize the support systems we've put in place. So if you think back early about what I was saying in our organization, we're nearly 400 employees, and probably about 300 of them, full-time employees, are all fully staffed to be support and migration specialists. So a service that we typically see partners sell as an additive is their support. That's another way that you can add margin to your offering on top of what you may get for the small part you may get for the licensing. Sell that existing support as a service, because I can guarantee you no one has ever said Microsoft has great support. They're going to welcome any kind of the support that you can deliver or deliver through us together. And then the last thing, that bonus that I mentioned, is take advantage of incentives that are provided. And we, in working with SMB Nation and all, we've got some great incentives that I'm going to talk about here shortly that, again, can just help make you more profitable. As you make this transition. So let's dig a little bit into these a bit here. So the first one, I talked about migration services. These are things like having an experienced team, having access to the best tools, whatever you need, whether it be from third party or whether it's in our own internal tools that we have. I talked about how we wrap in that free migration that you could sell at 100% margin, and the other services that you can put on top of migration. I see a lot of partners then do things like training or maybe change management on top of that. So all of those things bundle in nicely to a migration offering. The integration in Office 365, that instant provisioning, real-time billing access, automated client transfer for your existing accounts, that is all can be done to save you tremendous amount of time and effort, so you don't have to dig into the Office 365 systems to pull that out. It's all fully integrated and real time, and everything is billed per user per month for the services you consume. So you've got added flexibility there, so you can bill your customers for a full month or a full year, knowing that in our case at SureWeb, we're only billing you for the services you consume. So if you are only using partial services for the month or partial services for the year, you as a partner can be creative in how you bill your customers. You have that flexibility. And the last, that last one, that automated client transfer, as you have seats of business, one of the things we want to make it easy for you to do is to move those accounts over. So what I want to show you now is just how we can enable that and make it real simple for you to do that client transfer. And if you don't mind here, I'm just going to, go ahead,
Anthony,
Harry.
maybe, if you don't mind, before you start the demo, I want to catch them as they fly by. We have, again, it's sort of a question, and it's also kind of a commentary. So could Microsoft be going down the Google Apps direction? Question mark, no support, question mark. Even partners at the CDW level can't provide proper support. Their support is why clients like their services, blah, blah, blah. And I think it actually kind of repeated again. But basically, is Microsoft going down the Google Apps direction with no support? That's sort of the core question, if you want to comment on that.
I would, my answer to that is probably they're looking at offloading that to their partners 100%. I think Microsoft is looking at, to me, this transition kind of signaling that Microsoft doesn't want to take those direct calls, is looking at partners to do it directly. And some of those partners, like SureWeb, we're kind of stepping up to that, where we've kind of are building a business around it, and are enabling other partners to work with us to get that support. But that observation is absolutely correct, where Microsoft is looking to eliminate that themselves and have partners deliver the support for those who can do it and want to do it.
Cool. All right, let's do a demo.
All right, what I want to do now, one of the things as an advisor, if you're a Microsoft advisor, you're probably saying, how do I get my advisor accounts from one place to another? One of the key important things that we've done at SureWeb is we've built an excellent client import tool that can simplify this process greatly. And it's kind of the first step, and what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of these other additives that we have as part, if you're already a Microsoft advisor, to help you make a lot more money. So let me flick this on here real quick, and we'll do a demo.
Welcome. We've created a new import tool to help you move your Office 365 customers to SureWeb CSP. You can access this tool in your SureWeb Partner Portal. Click on the Organizations menu. Then click on Import from Office 365. This loads the import tool. Once there, you have to upload the Excel file that contains your customers and their subscriptions. You can get this file from your Microsoft Partner dashboard. Once you've uploaded the file, you'll be able to see all your customers listed along with their domains and subscriptions. Your customer list is sorted according to their subscription renewal dates. Let's get started. For each customer, select which subscriptions you want to transfer. What if you decide you don't want the last one? Just remove the check mark. You can start the transfer process by clicking on the Start button with the envelope icon. You can send an email invite to the customer that contains a link to the CSP authorization page. However, let's say this customer has given me access to his Office 365 account to do the transfer for him. I'll click on the Skip This link. Have you seen how it works? The customer has now moved to the Import Follow-up tab. Let's go to the Import Follow-up tab. Next, click on Link to the CSP Agreement and log in with your customer's Office 365 credentials. Follow the instructions to authorize SureWeb as your CSP. This process isn't shown in the demo. Click on the Validate button under Authorize CSP. This confirms your customer's authorization. Now the customer is ready to be provisioned, along with his subscriptions, in the SureWeb Partner Portal. Let's do that by clicking on the Provision button under Provision Products. After a few seconds, we can see the subscriptions are now marked as imported, except the last one. This is the one we previously unchecked before starting the transfer. Also, if you look at the customer name, you'll see it's now a clickable link. Clicking the link brings you directly to your new organization. You can leave the Partner Portal now. Go to the Office 365 Admin Portal and cancel all your customers' former subscriptions. This is so he won't be billed twice for the same services. That sums it up. Thanks for watching.
So as you can see there, what we've done is made a really simple to use tool around making these transitions of your existing advisor seats to SureWeb Advisor, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a little kicker around that, how you can make some awesome commissions on that going forward here shortly. But what we want to do again is enable you as partners to make that decision as what's the best partner program for you. Now everything that was just shown there, of course none of their email or services are impacted. This is purely just a business change, and it's purely just the benefit then the partner your customer would get from that is the support capabilities that we at SureWeb can deliver for you. You would still be that partner of record. You'd still maintain that. You'd still get all the benefits of being that Microsoft partner of record. But we would at SureWeb would assume the billing of your partner and then also any support that they require. So rolling right into support systems, again, we've got that to the question earlier. We've kind of looked at this as an opportunity where we can deliver best-in-class support much better than what Microsoft is, anyone who's going to ever say Microsoft is world-class, really. We track our support around Net Promoter Score. We regularly score, if you're familiar with Net Promoter Score, we regularly score north of 70 on that. In our industry, as an IT service provider, we see most vendors scoring anywhere between 20 and 30. So support for us is a really key part of what we do. And we can do it in a number of different ways for our partners, either co-branded, white label, or as gray label support to your end customers. So a lot of different options. So obviously that number 4, that really is that special incentive I mentioned earlier, is you as a advisor partner, you want to leverage your vendors' incentives. And we at SureWeb, we think we have probably the best incentive in the market right now for anyone who's an existing advisor partner. So I'm going to really start with that one. You can, if you're an advisor partner and you have advisor business, and you think back to that 3% your commissions you're going to be getting and how that's going to end here shortly, we have a plan where you can get 15% commissions for the first year and an ongoing 5% after. So when you transfer your Microsoft Advisor seats to SureWeb, you not only get the same price that your customers are currently paying, you're also going to get a much higher level of support for your customers, and you're going to have us take on the billing at a much more granular level for your customers. So you're going to get an added value for your customers to make that transition. So it's a very lucrative change. 15% that gets you right back to where you were when Advisor kicked off all those years ago, and then an ongoing 5%. What I like to say to partners is when it makes that move to 5%, that's when maybe you can consider maybe moving yourself as a full-on reseller or white label co-branded partner of SureWeb's. And if you're interested in that model, we've got an outstanding promotion along with that. So we can give you now, if you want to transition those existing seats or new seats, and this can be new business as well, to SureWeb as a partner, we'll give you 3 months free for all Exchange Online and Business Essentials plans. So this gives you a great chance to ramp up your business. This gives you a great chance to make additional better margins on Office 365. This gives you a chance to build your own solutions around this, and this enables SureWeb to help build a business in a box offering with you together. So 2 outstanding promotions. Certainly that 15% one, if you're an advisor right now with a lot of seats, you can make very aggressive amounts of money, great commissions right now going forward.
Okay, hey, got a couple questions lined up,
Yeah.
Anthony. So let's see. We go back about 3 minutes ago, and I've got because Microsoft is a safe bet in their mind. Do we sell? Oops, hang on, that's not the last one. Boy, they're starting to roll in. Okay, here we go. 1238. What if our clients like knowing that Microsoft is the back end? Are we selling this, or do we direct them to the Sherwood website?
Oh, great. Okay, great question. So your customers, what they're still getting, or they're not changing if they're already an existing advisor customer, they're still using Office 365 from Microsoft. That is the leading collaboration productivity suite of products out there. What they're getting on top of that from SureWeb is that same best-in-class level of migration support, customer support, and then what you as a partner are getting is that best-in-class partner enablement capabilities. So Office 365 is still the foundation. We are just layering services such as support and migration and partner capabilities, integration with Office 365, those kinds of things on top of it to make it more valuable for you and your customers.
Okay, the second question at 12:42 Pacific was essentially the same. You've essentially answered that. So let's see. Okay, the next question at 12:45 is the 3-month free offer for 3-month free for our existing seats we transfer.
That's correct. So the 3 months free are for existing seats that you'd want to move over into the white label or co-branded model, and it would be in the same period if you sold any new business in the interim until the promo expired. It would include that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Next question is 15% on total of Office 365 billing, question mark. More importantly, is the billing separated by tenant every billing cycle?
Yeah, great question. So the 15% commission is on that, whatever that customer's monthly reoccurring is. So we take that times 15%, and that's what you're paid out at. So for each of your customers, you would be paid that 15% across the board as you transferred them over.
Okay, great. And then the second part was, is the billing separated by tenant every billing cycle? So I guess
Yeah, so by tenant, by customer, so you as a partner, what you would see within, if you think back to the demo I showed, you'd have a view into our partner portal. You'd be able to see each of your customers that you are essentially earning that commission on. So yes, it would be broken up. You'd see that on your bill each month by the amount you're paid per each customer or tenant.
yeah, yeah. Okay, please continue. Oh, and folks, by the way, a little bit of housekeeping. Got just over 10 minutes left. If you came in late, I was listening so intently I forgot the midpoint update. Housekeeping very quickly. Tour to Cloud starts next Monday in Irvine, California. SureWeb will be there. tourtocloud.com, and then Grant's Ignite reports are posted up as news at smbnation.com. Please use the question feature to ask your questions. And Anthony, got about 10 minutes left, my friend.
All right. Well, Harry, I don't have any other slides. This is the money slide, if you will. I'm happy to continue to answer some questions. I guess what I'll close on is, as as a Microsoft advisor partner, as this program comes to an end, I just encourage you to consider SureWeb as a landing spot for your existing business, either by transitioning to our advisor offering, paying you that 15% year one, or if you want to explore more about how you can move into a white label co-branded resale type model, I'd be happy to entertain those kinds of questions and conversations, and we'd work together to resolve that. Harry said I'll be out in California at each of those events next week, so if any of you are there, we can even spend some more time together. And I thank you all and Harry for the attendance. It's been hopefully this has been very useful for you.
Well, settle down there, not so fast. We've got.
All right, I'm ready. What do you got?
12:49 p.m. So far, no mention of annual prepay open licenses. How will that be changing?
Yes, great question. My understanding in talking with our Microsoft reps is that open kind of will follow along the same line. So if you're supporting open licensing, we would take that and transfer that just as we would into the advisor model we're proposing here. So that's one we could talk more about offline, but that's kind of where the direction I've been getting from our Microsoft team, because open is another licensing model that I think will slowly go away in the near future.
Okay. Next question. I have a few nonprofits that only pay $2 a user. Will they be affected? So the nonprofit pricing.
Right. It's always that dreaded nonprofit customer out there, or a pricing question. So with nonprofits, we sometimes can make accommodations on that. The way I typically see a nonprofit work is that because of that pricing that you just described, it really kind of falls outside of how we can support in either of these programs. The pricing that Microsoft has given the nonprofits is so dramatically lower than we as a reseller or an advisor model can support. I guess then what I would say is we look at that on a case-by-case basis with regards to the nonprofit.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh boy, they're really rolling in. Scroll down my screen. I got a screen scroll. Okay, so we got to scoot right along. Is SureWeb an option for those of us based in the European Union, the EU?
Oh yeah, great question. Yeah, we absolutely can support partners in the EU as well. And bill and through either of these models. So if you are in there, yeah, certainly do consider us.
Okay. How does SureWeb make money? How How does SureWeb make money on their 3 plans? It's actually a fair question.
Yeah. Well, again, how we make money is, again, we're a partner of Microsoft, so part of our, certainly a core part of our business is the margins and support and things like that we garner from Microsoft. So that is, one way, but the volumes that we're selling certainly helps us in how we're making money through Microsoft and how they're compensating us for that. The other we offer our own sets of managed services that we also make money on, whether that be through Office 365, Azure, or our own infrastructure as a service. That's another source that we're selling and making money off of. And then the other thing I would mention is, again, we have our own infrastructure as a service that we're selling, and our margins obviously are a lot different than when we're selling Office 365. And the last one, we're a very large, one of the largest hosted exchange providers. We've probably over 300,000 seats on hosted exchange, so that's another revenue source, if you will, where we're making great money, great margins. So you factor all of those things in together. Again, we are a growing organization. In my time, I've seen our company almost double in size as we add people to support our growth. So very exciting times as being a cloud service provider and enabling partners like yourselves.
Yep. About 5 minutes left, folks. Next question at 12:52. One of the drawbacks of the early CSP offerings was that it wasn't seamless or fast to create new mailboxes. Is this system real-time in terms of user creations, deletions, and delegations?
Oh, great question. Yes. So one of the factors as if we have recognized in building our partner portal was building the integration into Office 365 so that a partner would have seamless interaction to create licenses, to create billing, to remove licenses, to add licenses, to change plans. All of it being reflected in real time and all of it being reflected in the partner's billing. So one of the major reasons why partners ultimately choose us from other options out there is just for our partner portal, our Cumulus, that integration that we've built. That's a major investment we've made at SureWeb to guarantee that when you remove a plan, it's happening real time. There's no extra billing for it. You're adding a new plan. It's immediately showing up for you in Office 365 to provision. So it is truly seamless, and it is a big differentiator and saves you a lot of time and reduces your headaches when it comes to creation of customers.
Okay, let's see. Harry, can you call me afterwards, Josh? Yes, Josh, I'll call you. I'll call you from the ferry. I'm headed into the city later. I'll call you. Seriously. Next question. How about government and educational? Government and educational.
So again, we do offer the government SKUs. Education, typically on a case-by-case basis, but we can provide the government SKUs, and it's integrated just like with all the other licenses. It is integrated within Cumulus, so it's just as simple and easy to manage and provision.
Perfect. Okay, to confirm, it sounds like SureWeb offers 100% of the Microsoft / Office 365 offering. Is that correct? Well, I think it is, right? You're offering all the SKUs, right?
So exactly. So when you log into our partner portal and you're looking at, you create a new customer and you're looking at what plans you'd like to add for that customer, you're choosing from the entire menu of Microsoft offerings, whether that be Office 365 and now moving into Azure, certainly along with the CRM Online. So all of those things. One of the things our most successful partners do, though, is they'll take those plans. They make their own bundles. They can take the Office 365 plans and bundle them with other things that maybe are outside Microsoft. You've got that kind of capability. But in short, yes, you could sell all the plans available that you would typically get that are available in Office 365.
Okay. My next question. My understanding is there are very few CSPs. Is that correct?
Right. So there are only a handful of CSP tier twos like SureWeb, like us, that can enable partners to resell Microsoft services. And that number, is so I think it's about five or six here in the U.S. that can have that distinction. There are certainly partners that are their own CSPs where Microsoft, kind of went to them because they knew they had the capability to deliver on that themselves and also would be willing to forecast and commit and do development, all those things that maybe you don't want to do. There certainly were those partners that wanted to do that on themselves, but only a handful of people that can enable partners like SureWeb can. And they can't do it as well, if I can just close on that, right?
There we go. Syncing with on-premise essential servers. So syncing with the on-premises essential server.
Yeah, so we do run across, I guess, what you might refer to. This question is hybrid environments. We can support them. It's typically, again, while that's not the norm, they're evaluated on, again, a case-by-case basis, because we do know that larger customers may want to do a hybrid type model where they keep one version still running in-house and want to move to Office 365. So in those cases, we'd work on that, as his own individual case versus, what we consider a normal migration, if you will.
Okay. Last two questions.
Yeah.
We are at time, folks. So once SureWeb takes over the billing, do we get notification of pricing changes?
That's a great question. So we publish, as a partner, as an advisor partner, you'd have access to our pricing. So if your customer's pricing changed, it would be automatically reflected in what you'd see within your commissions. And again, as anything changes from Microsoft or we add new plans, whether that be Azure or new things are added to Office 365, like recently the E5 with PSTN and things like that. Again, the price list would be always updated regularly for a partner to review and access.
Okay, finally, what is your cost to us, the partner?
Excellent. So all of these fabulous things that I've just described to you that we can help you deliver to your end customers, there is no charge to you as a partner. We do not have a fee to become a partner. Our focus is on enabling you to be successful in growing your revenue, which in turn for us is a win, because that just means more revenue for us. So all of these support that we deliver, from marketing to sales to migration to potentially customer support if you want to leverage us, the development we do on your behalf, there's no charge to you as a partner for those capabilities.
Okie dokie. Well, folks, we're at time, and totally appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Don't forget, this weekend starts the fourth quarter. Do you know where your earnings are? With that said, Anthony, thank you so much, sir. Folks, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thanks.